Hello, my babies. Welcome back to an all-new episode of MamMaJism. If you're new, welcome. If you aren't, welcome back. Thank you for deciding to continue this journey with me. And if you are new, welcome. We are on now week 6, the final week. We are on the final week of our mindfulness and self-esteem challenge. Now, if you want to start from week 1, that'll be episode 45. You'd think I'd know by now. 45 or 44. Don't quote me. One of those, though. Go ahead and check both out. But you know what? Just check them all out. Just start from the beginning. Just start at episode 1. You'll be good. You'll catch up eventually. Yeah, that was funny too. Only me. It's okay. So before we get into the final week of our challenge, gotta check in. How are we feeling? How was last week's episode? I feel like that episode I'm not very fond of, but I didn't have time to re-record, so that was the best I could do in that moment. I'm sorry, but as I told y'all before, even if I can't meet you at 100, I will meet you at whatever level I am at that day, and in that moment, I was at like a 57, so I do hope that it made sense. Again, it was all about interconnectedness and the importance of how we are all connected. That's what interconnectedness means, right? So making sure that we don't give too much of ourselves to the emotions that we feel, because at the end of the day, it's not us. It's not of us. These are just things that come and go. Emotions, they come and go, So when you're feeling those moments of like hopelessness, it's not who you are. That is not who you are at all. So really, that was basically what that challenge was about. Now, moving on to this week, the final week of this wonderful challenge, we are going to be talking about compassion for ourselves. So we've touched on loving kindness, we've touched on non-judgmental thinking, non-striving, all these different things to kind of lead us to this idea of compassion for ourselves, mainly because this is a self-esteem challenge. If you really pay attention to how we treat ourselves and how we feel about ourselves versus how we view other people and how we treat them, we start to see that the people who tend to get the least compassion out of that deal is ourselves. Rarely do we lend compassion to ourselves. We're more likely to give it to other people for whatever reason. I know for me, myself, I always like to think, okay, well, I'm going to take care of them before me. And yeah, it sounds nice and selfless and great, but truly, if you're not catering to yourself first and foremost, you won't even be able to spoil the people that you love as hard, because that foundation is like a little rocky, So what we're really going to be focusing on today is compassion toward ourselves. And the guided meditation that you listened to was all about it. I actually really, really, really enjoyed that guided meditation, because for some reason I've never thought to think of myself as my younger self and then lending compassion that way. So to get started, I'm actually going to have you reflect on that guided meditation that we just did. So I want you to think about how that guided meditation made you feel. Like, what kind of physical sensations did you experience? Did you feel like your mind was drifting? Did you feel like tired or impatient? Did Did you feel like any of these things? For me, I know that it wasn't until the end of the meditation that I started to feel this like sense of peace and this calmness wash over me. That last phrase where may I be at ease, where I just kind of like, I kind of like really felt something inside of me that was just like, oh, I want to be at ease. Yes, I want that very badly. So that felt really good for me. What about you? What were some things that you felt? Just kind of think about that for a little bit. Okay, good. Sometimes we have to kind of rework the way that we think of things in our minds so that it's a little bit easier to grasp, like the concept. So I know that there's a lot of inner child work that I need to do for me. So being able to visualize telling myself these affirmations and lending myself this compassion, it was just a lot easier for me because those were things that I probably needed to hear when I was young. So to get that now for my older self, it's kind of like a full circle moment in a way. So it's important for you to really be compassionate toward yourself because we are our hardest critics, right? To ourselves, we are our hardest critics. And it's important to lend ourselves these moments of compassion because if we're not going to do it, we can't expect other people to do it. And even if they can do it, we shouldn't want other people to do it for us. We want to be able to have that power and that control to give ourselves the things that we need so that we're not relying on other people. Okay? So an activity that they had me do in this challenge was to write down a couple of negative things that I think about myself sometimes that, again, because emotions, they come and go, they're fleeting. These are things that fluctuate in my mind sporadically. So a couple of things I wrote down was the negative things I think about myself. I'm fat. I'm ugly sometimes. I'm a try hard. I don't try hard enough. I am terrible at marketing myself. I don't give myself enough credit. I am a hypocrite sometimes. I am really hard on myself a lot. I worry too much. Just the list honestly goes on and on. It was very easy for me to find all these negative things about myself. But then I did that guided meditation afterwards, and I lent myself that compassion, and then it had me thinking of some positive things, some great things that I attribute or can contribute to this society. So like after that exercise, and I was like, wow, I'm peaceful, I'm loving, I am hardworking, I do my best. I enjoy love. I enjoy life. I enjoy smiling. I try my best to be the best person that I can be. So becoming aware of the negative thoughts that you have about yourself is the first step toward cultivating self-compassion. So meditation, as I've mentioned, helps you notice like the self-critical thoughts that you have. And again, this is something that we also touched on with our non-judgment week a couple weeks back when we talked about the importance of non-judgmental thinking. This kind of lends its hand to that, and the fact that when you're being judgmental toward yourself, when you're being self-critical, all of these things kind of make it harder for you to not only receive compassion, but to give it to yourself. And these are the things that we are striving for because that's what makes us more mindful of how we treat ourselves. And there you have it, folks. We just finished our mindfulness and self-esteem challenge. Thank you so much for participating in this challenge with me. You know that we have to close it out with a challenge of our own. And I challenge you to sit down with a piece of paper and whatever writing utensil you prefer, quill, paper, pen, pencil, whatever. And I want you to write down some negative things that you think about yourself. But I do want to take it a step further, and if you are in a position to do so, after you're done writing those negative thoughts, I want you to burn the paper. If you can't burn the paper, crumple it up, throw it away. I just want you to write down these negative thoughts or these negative ideas or feelings that you have about yourself. And the act of you throwing it away, burning it, flushing it down the toilet, if it's compostable, whatever, it is an act of you saying no more. Of course, these thoughts are still going to come and go, but you are going to make the active decision to choose positivity over those negative thoughts, and to choose self-compassion, to give yourself grace, to allow yourself that time. You got this. And I'm so, so proud of you for doing this with me. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and follow all the socials at MamMaJism. That's MamMaJism. If you decide you want to financially support me, on my accounts you'll be able to find out how. Thanks in advance. Until we meet again, please be kind to one another. And from the bottom of my heart, I love you.